Hi folks, Joel Bancroft-Connors, the Gorilla Coach here. So Miro's Canvas 26 just wrapped up in San Francisco, and they announced a whole slew of new features and functionalities, many of them based around deepening the AI tools that they've already built into Miro Canvas. I have been using Miro for over 6 years now, and I've been a big user of AI for several years now as well. The intersection of AI, Miro, and product owners is extremely strong. I use Miro to teach my students, and then I encourage product owners to use Miro as a design canvas for designing their products. With the enhancements in Miro AI, they can do even more within Miro now. So I want to show you how I have been using Miro and AI together and how it's been even easier with the new functionalities and features that Miro has. So let's head on over to the Gorilla Learning Center, which is, of course, powered by Miro. So let's talk about how I was working with my students previously. So previously, what I would do is we'd be doing a problem simulation. They'd start with a product idea and they would craft this problem statement. Problem statement canvas is a great way to capture who has a problem, what's important about it, competitors, and the like. Once they crafted a problem statement, I then taught them about the six segmentation techniques for creating customer segments. Now that we have a problem statement and customer segments, it's time to figure out some hypotheses to test to see whether or not what we've put together is correct. For the purpose of the exercise in class, what I really want them working on is figuring out how to validate a hypothesis. So while we need hypothesis, I didn't want them spending time and learning about how to create hypothesis right now. I wanted them to learn about how to teach hypothesis. So this is where AI comes into the picture. We can use AI to craft a number of hypotheses for us. Let's talk about the way that I used to do this. So what I used to do is I would use the feature built into Miro of copy as a high-res image. And this is really awesome because instead of doing screenshots that might not capture all the text and might not give us all the information, we get a high-res image of all the contents in that image. Then I have a prompt that I crafted in Claude. I take that prompt and I'm going to bring it over here into my ChatGPT. When I'm in the classroom, I use ChatGPT instead of Claude because I find it to be a little faster and I don't need to go into it deeply as I need to with Claude. Something else is you'll notice I say return as a two-column table. Why do I ask it as a table? Because anytime you copy table data into Miro, it gives you a great option. So I've copied the table data, and I'm going to bring this over here, and it brings up this prompt. Do I want to put that data in as a table, as a grid, or as sticky notes? I'm going to select sticky notes, and boom, I now have 5 hypotheses and why that hypothesis might be important. For the students to do this, I need to do a little processing for it. Now I would be able to put this into a Miro frame and they'd be able to do a 20/20 prioritization exercise against this. This has been working quite well and I'm very happy with it. However, with the advances in Miro, I can now do all of this without ever leaving the Miro board. Let me show you 2 different ways to do this. The first is more what I recommend to product owners to do when they're doing their own kind of brainstorming, because quite often this is going to be the start of a whole conversation. And we talk about how the best way to use AI is to have a conversation with the AI. Miro enables that conversation to be even more visual and more interactive. So we're going to click on this. Little tip. You'll notice here is the AI action button. Don't group your objects. If your frame and your objects in the frame are grouped, you will not get the AI flow button. You have to have the frame ungrouped from the items in it. And that would look like this, where you'll click on the frame, it'll show up the AI button, and then you can create the AI interaction here. We're going to do that here. I'm going to click on the frame, I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to select table. Then I'm going to move this up just a little bit. I'm going to come over here. We're going to click on this and bring it over as well. Now, this table is going to pull from both frames as a source. Next, we need to tell it what to do. I've taken the prompt I wrote in Claude, I put it into Miro's Sidekick and asked Miro's Sidekick to rewrite it specifically for use in Miro to create a table. drop that prompt in here, and we're going to run that. Now, as that is running, a couple of things here. I could have told it which AI tool I wanted to use. I could have selected Claude, Copilot, ChatGPT, what models I want to choose. And with the new MCP integrations that they've added in with Canvas 26, you're going to be able to start talking directly to the LLM models that you are already logged into, that you're using, that have your context. You're also able to add in other context, such as things from other tools outside of Miro, and pull that information in. So you're able to identify a lot more context, not just pulling data from the Miro boards. And that makes the AI flow tool extremely valuable, because it's not just limited to the content on the Miro frame. And as you can see here, we have just run this, and we have 5 hypotheses and why those hypotheses are important. We have it in a table form, and so then we can then come off here and we could go into a diagram, or we could create slides to go into deeper detail. We could also add a new prompt on, asking it to maybe analyze this and provide suggestions of its own on where should we focus. However, the whole goal here is we want our students to use the 2020 technique that they have learned in class to do prioritization. And so we're going to have them do a 2020 exercise of those 5 hypotheses, which means I need sticky notes. Now, the table doesn't create sticky notes direct. If you go and try and copy just a column out, it's going to try and create another table. So instead, we're going to use the action button, and we're going to create an action shortcut. So we're going to call this creating hypotheses to test. The action we're going to have it take is create a Miro AI. And then what do we want it to create? We want it to create sticky notes. The source, well, we can go here. We're going to identify a problem statement and customer segment. And so that's our source. And then we can also say where we want the output. And we want the output to go into hypothesis sorting. And then we're going to grab the prompt. This prompt is similar to the other Miro prompt. It's just designed to create sticky notes. I'm going to drop that prompt in here, and we're going to save. And this creates creating the hypothesis test action button. Anytime I run this action button, it will now run that series of commands. I'm going to wait here and see that it's going to run those commands. And here we have 5 hypotheses. Then dropped all in there, tried to fit it into the frame. Because I want this, I'm going to have the students do a 2020 exercise. I'm going to do a little bit of post-processing. Now, hopefully in the future, Miro is going to be able to do some of this, as well as they add more and more ability to manipulate and can interact with the board. Right now, I'm just grouping all of these together. And then if I highlight them, I can quickly stack them using the align feature. And I'm going to do that. And now it's ready to do a 2020 exercise. So as you can see with this, we have a tool that allows product owners to do a lot of more visual design work, visual AI prompting, bringing a lot of the tools from outside of Miro into Miro. And if you're an instructor, you can use it in your classroom environment. Little note on licensing here is, let's go ahead and stop sharing. Little note on the licensing. The Miro AI features are available in the business plan and higher. So if you have the business plan, anybody on your business plan account or enterprise account can use the AI functions. If you are inviting outside people, such as students or guests in, you will have to, as the board owner, press the buttons for them and engage that action. Still, it rapidly speeds up my classroom teaching and the data and content that we're getting out of it, and it forms a valuable tool. I get a lot of product owners and go, this is great, and go on to convince their organization to upgrade into a Miro business account so that they can have this functionality and build these flows in. So that's just how I am using Miro AI today to improve how I teach my product owner classes. I hope you got something useful out of this. If you did, please drop a comment. Let me know how you're using AI today with your visual collaboration.